Welcome, everyone, to this Hump Day edition of Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance, Playboy Marty drinking the coffee, Joel Davis. Please be careful while you're driving and zooming. Hope everybody's having a great one. Fellas, there's a topic that's going around. It is getting some national attention, unfortunately, and that is this Derrius Guice story. Not looking good, fella, the former Catholic High and LSU running back, who we know back on August the 7th, there were some charges against him for strangulation and some domestic violence stuff that didn't look good. We discussed then on whether or not we thought Derrius Guice might ever play football again in the NFL. Now we're there 12 days later. There's a story and a report from USA Today that's come out about two different women on LSU's campus. One of them a student athlete, a tennis player that was allegedly raped by Derrius Guice his freshman year at LSU. The worst part about this story, guys, is that if you believe one of the victims in the story, she shared this with a couple of LSU coaches, an LSU athletic administrator, and a nurse. They never did, and nobody involved went to the police. The police never investigated, but obviously it didn't go beyond that. And here we are years later, and this story looks like it is going to blow up, and who knows where it's going to end.
Yeah, not good. Not good. Makes me pretty sick that my alma mater is dealing with something like this, especially, coming off a season that just made everything seem so perfect and great and clean. But, this is awful. And just first and foremost, my heart's with these two women. I just feel absolutely terrible.
Let me ask you this, Joel. If all the article comes out and it just says, a couple ladies came forward, they alleged that Derrius Guice raped them 5 years ago. Okay, then that'd be one thing. There would be a part of you that might say, I don't know, let me take a wait and see approach. Now when we realize that, well, no, she did tell two coaches and she did tell an administrator and she did tell a nurse, and her father allegedly had a conversation with the tennis coach even, and who basically told her dad flat out, I don't know that I believe her. It makes it more believable. And in this Me Too movement day, you can't take any allegations like this lightly. And I'm shocked, and I think LSU's going to be in trouble, man, for not investigating further.
Yeah, look, man, Me Too is here and there, right? It's pick and choose the Me Too movement, right? It just depends on what side of the fence you're on when the Me Too movement matters. You hear this stuff all the time. This is an athlete. This is a young man. His career is on the line. If he did it, he needs to be punished severely. If LSU ignored it, they need to be punished severely. But I don't want to rush to judgment, right? There's no police report on this. Apparently, there's no active investigation on this right now within our police department. So, to me, I want to wait and see. Before I go and just throw Derrius Guice under the – look, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. This doesn't happen to everybody. It's not necessarily he's a target because he's an athlete. He's a star. There's a lot of stars. There's a lot of athletes out there that don't have these allegations against them. So with that being said, was he at the wrong place at the wrong time, dealing with the wrong people that want to take advantage of him? Or is he a predator? So I want to wait and see. Derrius Guice is a hero to a lot of people. A lot of people want to see him do well. You watch him, you hear the things that he says on Twitter. He's hungry to be successful. So you pull for that. But at the end of the day, if he's done these things, these atrocities, and you want to believe the woman, but we've seen it before where people are out to get people. So I don't want to go Me Too at all yet. I want to believe when the investigation is over. And I'm going to wait on this because not just because it's Derrius Guice and he's from Baton Rouge and he's a hometown hero and he's an LSU Tiger, but we've seen it before where people are, bro, just look at our politics, man. if Derrius Guice was running for president on one side of the party, this would be an afterthought. This would be swept under the rug. But it's not being swept under the rug. It's actually being exposed. And if he's guilty, he needs to be punished at the highest level.
The problem is that it was swept under the rug by university officials, according to the report. And honestly, look, I understand what you're saying. We have to give it time. We can't just automatically say he's 100% guilty and do that. But
Sure.
I do not have much of a problem believing that this guy's a scumbag, and I really don't want LSU associating with him at all.
But we don't know
I think
how
he's
much
trouble.
of a scumbag he is.
Well,
I mean, we've seen people accuse people of things that are the actual scumbag.
I get it, Joe, but here's the thing. Like, if this was the only incident that had ever happened with Derrius Guice, then you'd probably be more willing to say, take the approach that you're taking, which is, hey, I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt. I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach. But we know that on August the 7th, he was in a different state, totally different case and everything else. He had 1 count of strangulation, 3 counts of assault and battery, 1 count of destruction of property, with courtroom documents that show he strangled his girlfriend until she passed out on 3 different attacks. Okay, now in a different state and a different year. I agree with you. These allegations happened when he was a freshman, when he wasn't Derrius Guice, who we know now to be a star and have lots of money. This was when he was a broke freshman running back who wasn't even getting on the field much. So, there was no motivation for these claims back then, which were founded. I'm just surprised. And oh, by the way, we know now there's been some litigation behind the scenes of this situation for a while. But the bottom line is these allegations were brought to light back when he was a nobody. And what I don't understand is after what we saw.
Well, he wasn't a nobody. He was not
a football
nobody.
player.
He came onto campus with a lot of hype, Ronnie. I'm just going to say this. Again, if he did it, he's a scumbag. He needs to fry. He needs to go to prison. If he did this to anybody, it's terrible to even think about someone taking advantage of people like that, especially, just in today's society, there's no room for it, right? But I want to wait and see. And now we're realizing why he fell in the draft. We're now seeing, because when he fell in the draft, nobody knew anything. We're like, what's going on? What do they know that we don't know? Well, here it is.
This is it. And the thing that's surprising to me is, with everything we've learned, and I think I compare it a little bit to Baylor. I know Marty's got a little different comparison to it, but like when a player comes forward, a female tells her two coaches, and the tennis team has 2 head coaches, by the way. And when you tell 2 head coaches, an athletic administrator knows about it, and a team nurse or an LSU nurse knows about it. I mean, the minute I get this information, the minute a woman says rape, date rape, somebody touched me inappropriately, whatever terminology you want to use, there's nothing for me to do other than to pick up the phone and call campus police or the Baton Rouge Police Department and say, hey, I need the SVU. I used to watch that a lot, CSI, SVU. Get the SVU people down here right away. And why that didn't happen is shocking, and is going to cost some people jobs. It's going to cost LSU millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's awful. And not just make a phone call, make a phone call. And then if weeks later, nothing's happened, make another phone call and keep doing it. Cause that was the Joe Paterno excuse. I made a phone call. Yeah. But then you just chill on it. That's really the most disturbing part of the story, I think, is the women's tennis coach. And, I think she needs to be gone before the weekend. That's unacceptable for her to just.
The alleged conversation. Yeah, but here's the thing, Joel. From the victim's father, when at the time of the incident, a few months removed, at was it the SEC tournament, Marty, or something like that?
In Nashville,
The alleged victim's father said to Julia Sell, one of the co-head coaches of the women's tennis team, that my daughter was raped, and her response, according to the father, was that she said, I don't believe her. Okay,
that's terrible.
That's not terrible. Your opinion. That's not your opinion. Nobody's asking you for your opinion.
Right.
That's not your job. You pick up the phone and have the police, campus police, or whoever above you investigate, and you take yourself out of it because you coach tennis. You don't make decisions on whether somebody you think was raped or not. You're not an SVU police detective. Yeah. So that's it's just unbelievable to me that's what we're dealing with right now.
If this happened, man, everybody's got to go.
I mean, I just
this happened. Anybody involved, anybody that swept this under the rug, like Marty said, needs to go immediately. If this comes to be true, and I think they need to open up the investigation and they need to dig deep. Derrius Guice, he deleted his Twitter page. He's deleting everything that he can. That's coming from his lawyers and his agents. His career is over. Anybody that thinks differently, you're wrong. I mean, this is a guy that came off 2 knee injuries, so he's injury prone. And now this comes to light. If you have any, and who cares, right? If he's guilty of this, yeah, your career is over, and good. It should be over. And you need to go pay the price. But anybody that thinks, well, this is not really, even if it's not true, it's still going to ruin his career and his ability to get work in the NFL.
Certainly. But I just think the bigger issue is that LSU needs to come down hard and swiftly and need to make it clear, like, this is our top priority, what we're doing. Like, don't be posting, like, Competition Tuesday workout videos on Twitter. Like, that's not what the focus needs to be for the athletic department right now.
Well, it's a shame
Can't
because
disagree with that.
Derrius Guice looked like he was going to have a long career. He was going to make millions of dollars. He was going to be the face of Catholic High and then, one of the next great LSU running backs. Instead, he's headed to join the list of Cecil Collins, another running back who arguably, and I know you're too young, Marty, but for those that remember seeing Cecil Collins on a small sample size in the late 90s, in my opinion, the greatest running back that never was at LSU and the best running back I ever saw on the field. And again, that says a lot because Kevin Falk is my favorite. But he's a guy who had his off the field perversions and things and sexual issues going back to high school and ended up spending time in jail on a couple of occasions and of course never became the great player he could have been. And unfortunately, regardless of true or not, at this point, it looks like it's hard to figure out if Derrius Guice ever plays again. Let me get another topic I want to throw in there. Another sad story. Did y'all see the story out of New Orleans about Delvin Breaux, Joel? Did you see that? The former Saints cornerback, Delvin Breaux. Of course, remember his story out of high school. He got hurt and broke his neck. And Joel, turn your phone sideways, help us out a little bit. And
sideways.
And he ended up playing for the Saints a little bit before, kind of getting hurt, and he's been in the CFL. He's gone to asking people for money. I don't know if y'all saw this article coming out of New Orleans yesterday, but he's like broke, about to get evicted from his house. I mean, and he's saying that the COVID is to blame. He was playing in Canada, hadn't had a check since November or whatever, and can't get any help from the government. And man, sad story on a guy that probably one of the best comeback stories of all time. I know you're a big Saints fan.
Yeah, no, it's awful. I'm actually not like the biggest Saints fan ever, but his story certainly was inspiring. And again, I haven't read this article. I need to go read it. But yeah, no, that's awful. I feel
Joel, that's your boy. You gonna send him some money or anything? Help him out?
No. He's made more money in his short lifetime than I'll probably ever make in my life.
No, that's not true. That's not true. He wasn't a big player. All right, NBA playoffs, by the way, last night.
That's all I get on the Delvin. That's all I get on the Delvin Breaux.
Yeah, that's all you didn't have anything.
You make me look insensitive. I'm insensitive, and then you shut me off.
You've been doing that for the last 10 minutes, so I'm not gonna.
Who was I insensitive to?
We're never doing this on your cell phone again. It's just popping.
I can't help it if people are calling me, Ron. I'm a very important person.
Hey, Marty, you're the NBA expert in this little three-way here. The Blazers knock off the Lakers in Game 1. By the way, is Charles Barkley going to be right? He's been banging the drum for months and months and months, saying if the Blazers get into the playoffs as the 8th seed, they will knock off the Lakers. That's from Chuck Daddy himself, and boy, he's looking like a genius after Damian Lillard did his thing.
Yeah, I really hope not, because I got a Lakers NBA championship ticket in my pocket. So I really
what
really
did you
hope
pay for it, and what will it give you if they win?
I got it at plus 250. I just laid 50 on it, so nothing crazy. But
it was only plus 250, huh? Yeah.
They weren't the favorite, though. That's what that was my logic. I was like, okay, I thought they'd be the favorite. They're not, and like it's not going to get any cheaper than that. So
who was the favorite? Do you remember?
Clippers.
Clippers were.
Marty, how old are you, Marty?
29.
Okay, that's a gambling problem. You're falling right in line with Ronnie Rance.
No.
One little bet leads to another bet, to 1-800. All right, so I'm just letting you know. Just stop now.
We're responsible gamblers at Jimmy Ott's Game Time. But but anyway, Dame is just on a whole other level right now. Like, I mean, we know he's a shooter. We know but he's taking Steph shots now. Like literally, like 36 footers, like it's nothing. You got to guard him the second he crosses half court. He's just. He's insane right now.
Does the bubble help? Does the bubble help the underdog? Fans.
I think yes, and definitely taking the home court advantage aspect out of it. But also, I think it helps Portland specifically because they've been in playoff mode for 2 weeks, and the Lakers kind of got to the bubble and have been chilling the whole time. So I
want them to lose so badly. Oh my God! I want the Lakers to get bounced in the first round. I will be so happy.
Is that Anthony Davis? Is that why?
I mean, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, you name it. They talk across the board. I want them to get swept. They're not going to get swept, but I'd like how embarrassing if they get swept in the first round of the playoffs.
Lakers?
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I said it's probably not going to happen.
It's not.
But how great would it be? Okay.
It's not going to happen. You want to bet on it?
No.
I'll give you plus 500.
Would you? No.
You bet $100, and if you're right, I give you 500.
Did they win their first game already?
The Blazers won last night, Coach. They knocked off the Lakers.
Exactly. So they're 0-1, right?
Yeah.
So I got a chance.
You got a chance.
It is still alive.
You know what? I'm going to say the Lakers can win one.
So that's good. Blazers in 5 is your prediction?
Blazers in 5.
What did you put in your coffee this morning?
I've had 4 cups.
No crap, right? No shit, I can tell. Hey, real last topic before we're done. Want to get your opinions. Today, supposedly, there's going to be a meeting with a couple parents of Big Ten players and Big Ten officials, the commissioner of the league. There's, this well-documented petition that's been going around. We know a few days ago there were well over 250,000 signatures. That numbers continue to grow. Is there any? I mean, like, can the players and the parents? I mean, is this like in high school where you ask for a parent meeting and you go in there and you talk to the coach and maybe the coach changes this penalty or something? Like, there's no chance, right, that the Big Ten's going to play football this year.
I mean, if there's enough pressure, people make a lot of decisions based on pressure, right? If there's a lot of parents that say, "Hey, look, my son came to school to play football here." You got the SEC playing football. You've got these other conferences playing football. We could have went to the SEC. I'm going to sue you. If they play, I'm going to sue you because you're costing my son millions of dollars and an opportunity to play at the next level. Justin Fields, perfect example. So if I'm his parent, I'm looking at every lawyer that's out there because they could be potentially costing this kid. Look what Joe Burrow. How do we know that this dude couldn't be the first pick in the draft? How many millions of dollars has Kevin Warren could potentially cost Justin Fields if he doesn't play? Or release him and let him go play wherever he wants. So I think you have to have that meeting. I think if you're Justin Fields' parents, you need to walk in that meeting with a lawyer and say, "Hey, bro, last year's a perfect example of what can happen to an athlete in a 12-month span. A 6th-round draft pick that could barely make a roster to making $30 million guaranteed. So we got to have that conversation. You can't tell me that Justin Fields couldn't potentially be the number 1 draft pick next year if he goes out and throws 50 touchdown passes, leads Ohio State to a national championship. Just my opinion. So, yes, we need to have a conference. We need to have a parent meeting.
Yeah, I agree. And it's honestly worse for players of a lesser caliber because, I mean, he's still going to be a top 10 pick even if he doesn't play. Just because of the way the draft works now. Teams reach for quarterbacks. So, like, he'll be okay, but I do agree. Like, he had a chance to maybe move up and be the number 1 pick. Like, if he outplays Trevor Lawrence this year, it's very, very possible. So, Yeah.
And Trevor's coming off a really bad performance. His last showing was not good. So Trevor Lawrence needs the season to kind of say, hey, that was a fluke. That game versus LSU.
Yeah, but just I
think
this is big. I think this is really big for recruiting moving forward because I don't think these class of 21, 22, 23 kids aren't seeing what's happening right now.
Yeah, we had Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com on the show yesterday, and that's what he said. He reiterated that no matter what happens, whether LSU or the SEC plays the season or not, they're already won, and that's going to benefit them in recruiting. And by the way, Trevor Lawrence didn't play his best game, but it didn't wash away 2 years of greatness. He's still going to be the first pick in the draft, no matter what.
No, but it's on film, Ron. It's on film.
Yeah,
a high-quality defense.
So are all the great games he played on film. Not everybody's Joe Burrow, where you literally play a full season and don't have one bad game. You know, that never happens.
All it showed was the dude's sphincter tightened up under pressure with a lot of people in his face. Look, you can go back and look at the Alabama game in the national championship game as a freshman. It was like, wow, right? And then as this past year versus a quality defense, a quality team, he had some moments, but he also had moments under pressure where he lost all his ability of accuracy. He had zero accuracy.
Because why?
You win in the
Because why?
Well, when you have a defensive end up your nose like a rubber hose, your sphincter tends to tighten up. And you overthrow players, like badly.
By the way,
that still was the funniest thing. They showed that graphic. Like Trevor Lawrence has 11 overthrows tonight. It's like I've never seen a graphic like that. Like no one's ever kept track of how many overthrows. Last game.
Yeah, that's his last game. That could potentially be his last game in college football. Who knows?
Joel, thanks for the time. Listen, Joel, log on to social media. Delvin Breaux needs your help. 2006 coming out of high school, he broke his back, his C4, 5, 6 vertebrae. You remember Adam McDonough, 35. He was only 17 years old, never got the chance to play at LSU, even though he was, there, went to school and commitment. And so he needs your help, Joel. Send him some furniture from Woodhaven, something like that. Okay?
I'll do it.
All right. He's Playboy Marty. I'm Ronnie Rance. Don't forget Sports Shorts Daily. Please like, click, share this video. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Weekdays, 15 minutes or so each and every Monday through Friday. Have a great week. Sports Shorts Daily presented by LaBear's Casino.